started here. Oh, thank you. We do have a few others trickling in, but we'll get started with a brief introduction here. We did do our land acknowledgement here at CLNH earlier this morning, so we're going to get into Dr. Andrew Campbell or DR.ABC's presentation. So welcome everybody. We have CLB Nadina's window there, and we have Cindy from Halton region and a few others joining. So we'd like to welcome Dr. Andrew B. Campbell, DR.ABC. DR.ABC is an assistant professor teaching stream in leadership for racial justice and teacher education in the Master of Teaching program at the Ontario Institute for Studies in Education, OISE, University of Toronto. He is a coordinator for the Black Future Educators program and the newly appointed director of the Center for Black Studies in Education. DR.ABC is known to the OISE and wider community for his leadership on advancing equity leadership to us LGBTQIA+ community and teacher education. DR.ABC's exemplary work has seen numerous awards bestowed to him, such as the 2024 recipient of the Black History Month Award from the Jamaica Canadian Association, the 2022 Award for Excellence in Initial Teacher Education from University of Toronto, the 2021 Distinguished African and Caribbean Award from University of Toronto, African Alumni Association, the 2021 Champion Educator Award from ONABSE, the Ontario Alliance of Black School Educators, and numerous others. He presently teaches courses in anti-discrimination education, leadership, educational change, urban education, and Black educators' identity and pedagogy. He has presented at numerous conferences and has delivered many presentations as a keynote speaker, motivational speaker, and workshop facilitator. He loves people, food, fashion, traveling, and bringing his community together for a good meal. Welcome, DR.ABC, and please take it away.
Thank you so much. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, pleasure to be in conversation with you. Those who are logging in, don't worry, I'll let them in. I can see the when they come, so it's all good. So I'm searching through my papers, and you might be wondering, why is DR.ABC searching through his papers? Because as you were speaking, my slide number 14, I felt necessary to switch it up and to begin with that slide. And that's how I do my work. Sometimes you are led to do things in a different way. And so I want to say welcome to everyone. I'm excited to be here, to be a part of your learning journey. You know, yesterday I was in Dufferin Peel Catholic District School Board, and we talk a lot about anti-racist and activist pedagogy. But most of the day was spent talking about our own learning and unlearning, our own growth, our own power. A lot of times when we come to these kind of workshops, we talk a lot about the community, the clients we serve, the families we serve, and often we don't really position ourselves. So yesterday, our conversation I had with the Dufferin Peel was about being an anti-racist, inclusive, equitable, loving, honest, kind, empathetic educator. And so this morning, I want to get into a little bit of that. But before I get into anything else, I'm going to move to my slide that I feel the need to go to, because I always follow my mind. So back in a couple months ago, weeks ago, we observed, not celebrate, we observed Truth and Reconciliation Day, aka Orange T-shirt Day. And I was at the University of Toronto's ceremony. And this comes to us from Professor William, acting vice president of University of Toronto Scarborough, and acting principal of University of Toronto Scarborough campus at the time. And something profound that really hit me in his conversation was he reminded everyone that what we do in equity, inclusion, belonging, he reminded everyone that this response, whatever we're doing, the meeting we're having here, the things you do by yourself, the things you do with your committee, the planning, all of that, he says, the response begins with inclusion and it matures into belonging. I want to just leave that with us as we start today. The response, whatever we are doing, it begins with inclusion and it matures into belonging. So the reason why I started with that slide is because I want a lot of us to understand that when we think of cultivating belonging, I want us to understand that the work has to be intentional. The work we do to cultivate belonging has to be intentional. It is not on paper. A lot of us, I can tell you, I've been to a lot of workshops. Many of us, we are very good with belonging on paper. We are very good with our documentation. We are good with our strategic plan. We are good with our equity committee. We have a document. We have a framework. We have a policy. We have an inclusive vision. We have all of that. The problem is, it is not maturing into belonging. Belonging is when someone, not me, not you, the leader, but when our students, our clients, our community, the people we serve, the people we work with can say to us, I feel a sense of belonging. I feel safe. Oftentimes, I don't know if you notice, it's been popular in maybe the last 5-6 years that we keep on labeling any place we have a safe space. You and I, we go to work, we paint the room yellow, we put a nice bouquet of flowers somewhere, a nice cushion, and then we put on the board, it's a safe space. No, it's not. Because you say it and because I say it, that doesn't make it safe. The users of the space, the parents, the clients, the students, the community, the people you serve have to be the one to say to you, I feel safe. And we people feel safe with us when they feel a sense of belonging. So as we get into this, I want to ask you a very simple question. If I should ask you, if I was in person, I would go around the room and I would say to you, how do you know you belong here? Community Living Halton, Halton. I see Nadia over there. Cindy and Evelyn purpose have turned off their camera. But how do you know you belong here? And some of you will give various answers. You have a desk with your name. You have an office with your name on the door. Some of you have parking spots. Some of you, as you come through the door, somebody said good morning to you. Somebody waved to you, Cindy. Somebody, if Jessica is missing, somebody will check on Jessica. Somebody will stop at Starbucks or Tim Hortons or wherever and get your favorite coffee. They know you take two cream, two sugar, and it's almond milk. It's not regular milk. You have a sense of belonging because the way how you have been treated. Belonging is not paperwork. Belonging is not labels and titles. It's the way you have been treated. So here comes the good news / bad news. As many indicators that says to you, you belong here, there are also indicators that say to other people, you do not belong here. You don't have to say to somebody, go back to where you come from. That's only one form. But the things you say, the jokes you make, the insinuation, the ways in which you do not show empathy, kindness, love, care, the ways that people are excluded, the way of people are ignored and erased because of their identity, their sexual orientation, their religion, their physical abilities or physical disabilities, their neurodivergence, the ways in which those things are ignored or erased says to you, you do not belong here. Now, I'm a storyteller, so I'm going to share you a quick story. So every school I go to, I teach dancing. I start a dance club. I'm a part of either the Christmas production when I used to be a regular school teacher. This time, December the 12th, I am busy. I'm doing dress rehearsal. I'm busy. I'm staying at school till 6 p.m. because I am in production. You have to understand, in many of these schools I have been at, and I've been to many schools because I've been a substitute teacher or a LTO, long-term occasional teacher, for years by choice. So I go from school to school. The students who get to be seen on stage, the students who get to be chosen and selected are normally the same kind of students. the ones who are bright sparks and bright shine and they show up in a certain way. Everybody sees them, you know them. Their parents send them to ballet class, they go to music, they have their piano. Those are the ones we gravitate towards. And I'm going to say something very clear. We have to be mindful. That's why I keep on telling you we're going to speak about ourselves today. We have to be mindful the ways in which we, not even realize we're doing it, perpetuate these kinds of things. The ways in which you and I have been responsible for allowing certain people to do not feel a sense of belonging. I want you to be mindful. You can't be defensive. You have to be open-minded. You have to think. That is why I keep on saying whenever I do workshops, there's a set of people who never get it because they come because they are so skilled, they are so qualified, they have all the degrees, they know it all. They are not ready to open up themselves. These are the same people who call themselves global scholars and they have an international perspective. No, you don't. No, you don't. If everybody you interact with look like you, behave like you, go to the same coffee shop, eat the same food, the same place, you are not as global and internationalized as you think. You have to open yourself to difference. So I went to these schools. And one particular school I went to, I'm going to tell you the story. I want to capture that in a story for you. One particular school I went to, I was doing a production and I noticed two things happen. I'm going to give you the two things in a couple minutes. The first thing happened was that I noticed a group of students who would come to the door and they would look what's going on in dance class and they would go away. And I keep seeing them maybe the first, because I'm new to the school, the first couple of days. And I would say, who are these students? Because I see them looking like they're interested, but they're disappearing quite quickly. And then someone says to me, Mr. Campbell, they are in the hard of hearing program. So these kids, most of them are deaf or hard of hearing. And then another one, not being biased, not being discriminatory, not being anything negative. The other one pipes up and says, they can't hear the music, so they can't be in dance class. I want you to understand the ways in which, not even meaningful, not even intentional, we perpetuate the things that sustain unbelonging. That's my word, unbelonging. These are innocent children. They are not racist. They are not mean. They are nothing. They're just beautiful, amazing students. But they have this idea that students in hard of hearing program do not be a part of dance. And they really don't really go on the stage, really. So then, watch me carefully. I am addressing my own work. I want you to watch me carefully. I am addressing my own work. I am addressing the students' stereotypes and assumptions. I'm not going to use the word bias. They're stereotypes and their assumptions that was passed down to them. And I'm addressing action. Come on now, action. So I gather my students and I explain to them that yes, we actually can have hard of hearing kids in dancing. I showed them a video of the Jamaica Deaf Association students entering and winning gold medal at the national dance competition in Jamaica. And I said to them, I have the skills to teach those children and you to dance without using music. Everybody see what I just did? How are you adjusting your pedagogy? How are you adjusting your practice, Nadia? You see, I like to call names. I'm just going to call Nadia because she's on the board. How is Evelyn and Jessica and Sheldon and Cindy? How are you adjusting your practice as the community changes, as the students change, as there's a difference in your community? A lot of you are dealing with, for instance, immigrants in your community that you have never had before. If you are going to treat and teach everybody the same way you have been doing it for 20 years and 15 years, well, we have an issue. We have a concern. If we have not addressed and adjusted our pedagogy, we have had to do that. And you know to do it because you did it in the pandemic and you did it well. Some of you did it excellent. So don't tell me you can't adjust. So now I send a letter home to the parents saying, if your child is in hard of hearing and they want to be a part of dance, send them. We had about 4 kids show up. We taught the dance. The night of the performance, the curtain opens. All the children run out on the stage. You didn't know who was hard of hearing or not because now the music is playing, but everybody had learned the dance using counts. You can teach an entire dance without music. You use counts. Now let's get back to another one. Same story. I'm using a story to teach this today for a bit. There is a little girl in the group who is new. She's new to the school. This school is a predominantly white school. I am new. I'm the black teacher. Few Asian kids and a few other children. The best dancer for the lead part was a new little girl. She was brown, Indian girl. She was amazing. I selected her because she was amazing. The next morning I came to school, there was a conversation and the principal called me in the office to let me know a group of parents, I want you to listen to me and follow me on this one. A group of parents had come to the office to complain that the new teacher, the black guy, that's me, the black guy, I'm Mr. Campbell, had selected a lead dancer and she didn't go to ballet like the other kids. I want that to sink in for a bit. I want that to sink in for a bit. That a group of parents went to the office because their child, who is usually the dominant child in the school, was not selected. And this new kid, who is not really from the community because she's brown, doesn't go to ballet. Here we go with inclusion, exclusion, erasure, assumptions, stereotypes, and biases. And when we sit in workshop like these and we pretend like these things do not happen, we are dishonest. So to do equity work, to do genuine inclusive work, to do genuine inclusive belonging, anti-racist inclusive work, you have to be honest about your own bias, your own assumptions, your own stereotype. You have to be honest. You have to confront that. As I keep on telling you, so many of us are doing work on equity, but we have done no work on ourselves. So the execution of the equity plan is not working because the people who write the plan have not worked on themselves. The people who write the, let me spotlight myself for this because I'm going to go there. The people who write the equity plan are racist themselves, are homophobic themselves, are anti-Semitic themselves, are anti-Muslim, are anti. These are ones, they are ageism. They believe in certain gender privilege. The ones who are trying to work on the equity document have not worked on themselves. So when I go to these many kind of workshops and I hear the issues, I go, well, you have a good document, but nobody's doing the work. Let us go to the Truth and Reconciliation document. You can go on the website, Yellowhead Institute. Google it right now. Yellowhead Institute. There's a graphic on the wall, on the website. 94 Truth and Reconciliation promises. Call to action. We make the call to action. We promise big time. We have only started 13. If you and I don't feel ashamed and disappointed, well, I don't know what. If you and I think that this is okay, if you and I think we can write a 34 promises and we have only started after what, 5 years, delivered on 13, it's not good. And somebody among us have to say this is not good and speak up and speak out. We have to do it. It's equity. Let me just say this. Equity work is hard work, but it's also heart work. You have to feel it here. You have to do it from the heart. So belonging is based on love. So let's get back to the PowerPoint and let me show you where we're going to go with this conversation. So ask yourself for a minute, what are some of those things that you need? You need, not me, because I know what I need. What do you need at the community living North Halton that would, if belonging was the foundation, you would see these kinds of results? Take a picture of any one of my slides, please. You can share it, you can post it, you can do what you want to do, tweet it, anything. Imagine if belonging was the foundation. What are all the possibilities? You know, something just come to me. This is how I teach. It's coming up to Christmas. Many of us, we celebrate Christmas. We have this thing going on. It's Nadina. We have this thing going on. I think I called you Nadia earlier. Nadina. We have this thing going on, Nadina, where if we leave cookie and milk the night before Christmas, Santa brings a present. Imagine then if what we think would happen, what could be brought into our schools and our institutions and our resource centers and our clinics and our community spaces and our circles, what would happen if we led with belonging? Can you imagine what could be left if belonging was the foundation? Think about that for a minute. So in 2020, I did a podcast and I was with the Simcoe County School Board. And they asked me about a question. And I said, I had this from August 25th, 2020. And I said, too many of our students are made to feel they are strangers. Many of you don't work in schools. I'm quite aware of that. Don't think I don't know that. But you are educators. You are resource wells. I call yourself wells of resources. You understand what goes wider than school. Your scope of understanding goes way beyond school. You understand community from birth way up. You get that. Well, guess what? Many people feel like they're strangers in our spaces. And so belonging is more than a flag and a sign and a sticker. You know, during Pride, everybody has a Pride flag. And then we catch you and me in the staff room saying something nasty and homophobic. But we have a Pride flag on our desk. You know, everybody was in orange t-shirt the other day, including myself. And then if we not be careful, we speak negative about Indigenous folks and what they are doing to the government and what they deserve. We pretend like we don't know about the missing and murdered Indigenous women. When somebody has a sign like this over their mouth, we pretend we don't know what it means. When we hear the word land back, we are aggressive and rude, but we all wore orange t-shirt. We have to check ourselves, you know. We have to check on ourselves. That's why today, in this first conversation we're having, because I'm sure we're going to have another conversation again. Oh, no, I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will. Because I'm giving you enough today for you to understand. We are not going to just do a one session and be like, oh my God, I am amazing. Look at me. I have a certificate in belonging. No, you don't. No, you don't. We had a 1-hour conversation. It was amazing. You participated. You left with a lot of critical reflection. That is what's going to happen. But you are no overqualified expert. I'm not an expert either. So I don't know how you could become an expert in 1 hour. It's ongoing work. We have to be intentional. So I put this here to kind of make it dramatic and extra because I'm a little bit extra. You could sense it. I love to be extra. And I put this here because I want to show you all the stuff we're talking about: belonging and brave space and safe space and reflection and equity and journey and position and pedagogy and practice. And, you know, we're doing the most. We are showing everybody that we are qualified and we are educated. That is the purpose of this slide. Let us show each other that we are qualified, we are educated. But here is the real slide. Uh-oh, uh-oh, Uh-oh. Uh-oh. When we have taken away all the extra stuff, when we're taking away all the extra stuff, we are boiling down to the real stuff. Nadina, Evelyn, Cindy, look at the real stuff. The real stuff is your action. And your action has to be guided by the most important words today. Please write down the most important words today. And just so you know, I'm going to give you a clue. The most important words today, it's not discrimination. It's not anti-oppressive practices. I know people like those words because they look good on your resume. It's not decolonization. It's not anti-black racism. It's not inclusivity. No. The most important words today is love, kindness, compassion, and empathy. Joy and healing. Those are the most important words today. Oh, somebody may be saying, really? Is those are the words? He has a PhD. Where are the PhD words? You don't need no PhD words. You need the right words. These are the right words. How are we leading our resource centers? How are we leading our work with kindness, compassion, care, love, healing, hope, joy? Those are the powerful words. Because far too many times we're living in a space where people know they do not belong. We don't have to tell them. The way we behave, the culture and the climate of your resource center says to certain people, you do not belong. Or it says to everyone, you belong here. Have you ever been to certain spaces? Some of you have been, many of you have been into schools. Have you ever gone to certain schools and when you walk into the office, you just be like, wow, I could work here. This just feels good, the vibe. The way the principal speaks to you, the way the office administrators wave to you, you just feel like, wow, I could send myself to school here if I was 5 again. And then you go to another school, not even 5 minutes down the road, and you walk in the building and you go, mm, mm. You just groan. You'd be like, because the culture and the climate says to you, this is not it. Because what we've been doing in many spaces is the one size fit all. And if you look at this chart, this picture quite well, it makes it very clear as persons like yourself who are qualified, you look at this, you know, some of these people are not going to be successful. And that's where you come in. You know, some of these people will never be successful. You already look in the eyes of the elephant. This is sadness and dread. Many of our children, our students, our community, they come to us with this sadness and dread because they know that nothing has been prepared for them to grow and to thrive and to excel because we are stuck into our way of doing it. This fish in this pond right now is just thinking, well, I'm done. Ain't no way I'm going to climb this tree. How are we then adjusting our pedagogies and our practices? How are we questioning the issues that impact belonging? How are we questioning those issues? How are we addressing them? How are we literally saying, what can I do better? Do you know why I think I'm a good teacher? People say I'm a good teacher. People say I'm a very good teacher. You know why I think so? I am a growing teacher. I've been an educator for 27 Septembers. 27 Septembers. And I can tell you, if you call me to do a workshop like today, I am excited. And if you call me to sit myself down at a table and write and take notes and learn, I am just as excited. I am a learner. People go to conference and see me sitting at the back with my notepaper and I go, oh my God, Dr. ABC, you could teach this. And I said, well, not today. I said, today I'm learning because I want to learn from different perspectives. You have to be honest about what you don't know. How many of us are being honest that we have to get new skills, new attitude, new ways, new ideas, new pedagogy, new practice? We have to be honest about those issues and how we are going to grow so we can make the space better. So I'm going to show you something. A lot of us in our line of work, we have celebrated this picture. My life is a story of resilience. Absolutely. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Far too many of our students and our clients we serve have to be in resilient mode. They have to constantly be in resilient mode. Sometimes you hear about documentation. It's 7 different meetings, 10 different trips for one piece of paper. Resilient mode, fighting mode, resistance mode. We want to put together a panel to help a particular student. You feel like this office, that office, this process, this policy is just making the process horrible and worse and hard and difficult. So you yourself trying to help your client, you are also in fighting mode. That's why I like when I do workshop, the leaders are in the room. Because I want to say to the leaders, we have to be a little bit more intentional at disrupting the things that we are upholding. Oh, yes. We have to be better at looking at the policies, and somebody around the table have to literally say, Nadina, this is foolishness. Somebody have to literally say, Sheldon, we've been doing this way for the last 20 years. And things have changed. And we still have the same piece of paper with the same piece of filling out of information. That is unnecessary. We have to fix this. We have to look at our policies and our practices and say, how are they making the work of belonging? How are they making the work of belonging frustrating, difficult, so you are in constant survival mode? It hurts me whenever I see people in constant survival mode because I have been there. I know what it is to go to school as a young black boy in Jamaica who was effeminate, and people used to tease me and bully me about my sexuality, and every day I am in survival mode. From I get up in the morning at the age of 11 thinking, how will I navigate the school with these boys and teasing me and bullying me? That's a whole lot of rose in a rose in a concrete. I don't celebrate that as how people used to celebrate. And I usually say, I don't celebrate it as much because I know for a fact my life would have been absolutely more amazing, and my life is fabulous. Oh, I have a fabulous life. But I could be more fabulous if I was given the kind of nurturing in school that I deserve to feel that sense of belonging. If I was watered and manured and fertilized and pruned and given the right amount of sunlight. You think I'm fabulous now? Oh, I would have been fabulous to the square power. Many of our students are here constantly. Parents constantly. As leaders in our community, we have to ask ourselves, how do we extend better water, better soil, more improved sunlight, nutrient. How do we prune and pluck and take care of? So students feel a sense of belonging, the kind of belonging that says you are individually welcomed, respected, included, and supported. I want to pause for dramatic effect on that slide for a minute because I feel it. I use this slide a million times, but every now and then I feel a different energy and I just sense it. I know one of you, you're feeling what I'm feeling. This really thing on your physical body that says, how do I work to ensure my students feel welcome, respected, included, and supported? Those are some powerful feelings. I could tell you, when I feel welcomed, when I feel respected, when I know I'm being supported, and I don't even have to question if I'm included, I feel like Superman. I'm not even joking. I feel like Superman. I can do anything. You, I know those days when I've been in schools like that. When everybody's gone, 4 o'clock, I'm there till 6 o'clock. Not because I'm trying to do anything extra. I am just doing the most in my classroom because I feel welcome. I feel respected. I feel included. I know I'm supported and I feel a sense of belonging. And it gives me energy to just do so much. When they think Mr. Campbell is going to do one dance for the Christmas production, I have produced 4 different dances on my own time. On my own time. Because I feel a sense of belonging. So you don't have to tell me what happens when people feel a sense of belonging. Nobody has to tell me that. Nobody has to tell me that. Even you yourself, staff members, I'm addressing you as well. Because there's staff members among us who do not feel welcome, respected, included, and supported. You don't have to tell me that. It happens. So sometimes we spend time talking about the people we serve and ignoring the people beside us. We still have place right in 2024 where every single week somebody have to remind you of their pronouns. It's not that you don't know it. You're just disrespectful. See, many people won't come to the workshop and say that, but that's the kind of person that I am. You have to know what you're getting when you get me. I'm going to tell you. It's not that you haven't practiced to pronounce the person's name. You just don't care. And you are disrespectful. Because we have people like those in our world. I'm not particularly saying you as in you who are with me today. I'm saying you as in general John public. How are we showing the respect and love and support? So, what are the factors that impact belonging? There are many factors, by the way, just so you know. This is not an exhaustive list. This is my list. If I was with you, I would normally give this as an activity for a workshop, and I give an empty sheet of paper, and people normally fill in, and I can tell you something, no joke. Of all the words here, every word always come up. The only word that is not a popular word is membership. It's membership. Every other word, safety, relationship, inclusion, trust. Oh, trust is the biggest one. I don't think I've ever done this workshop, this speech, this talk, this connection, and I've done it many times. And the word trust did not come up on the list. Always. Because when people feel a level of safety and they build trust with you, you are ready to go. You know that. You know the community members who trust you. You know the people you work with. You know what trust can do, and you know what mistrust can do. So I want you to remember today, one of our takeaway is that we have to build real connections. We have to build real relationships. Belonging is about relationships. What is your plan to go beyond the orange t-shirt day? How do you see you're part of your indigenous community members? How are we nurturing relationships with all the different types of families? How are we making our students know at their most vulnerable, fragile state, you belong. You belong. You belong. How are we doing that with love and kindness and healing? How are we doing that with intentionality? That's my word. Intentionality. How are we doing that with the intentionality that is necessary to say to people, I see you, you belong. So I'm going to show you something, a research. Oh, I love this. We're coming down to the close. So this research is done by Carter E. Biggs. You can write down the name. Carter, Carter, Carter E. Carter, and E. Biggs, Biggs. And they do a research on the 10 dimensions of belonging. When I saw this in 2022, I I I was the happiest person you could find because I've been saying this for a while. But people feel like they need to hear something more extensive, something deeper about belonging. Belonging is the ways in which people feel welcome, accepted, supported, cared for, needed, loved, present, invited. Those are the things that sustain belonging. It's not the degrees. It's not the beauty of the room. It's not how many things you send out on the newsletters. It is the ways in which people feel these dimensions. So it's easy to affirm, but it's kind of hard to define. What does it really look like? And this particular research actually focuses on disabilities, students with disabilities. And I love a statement that was made. They said that schools that are committed to the concept of belonging must have a strong understanding of practices and postures that contributed to this goal. If you are big on belonging, you have to have that kind of posture and that kind of understanding. So, I like this. I took these questions from the research. So the first question I love. The first question says, what are the experiences and relationships that will assure them, those are the students and the families, that they have a cherished place within their learning community? Another question was, what does it really look like for students with disabilities to experience belonging within inclusive schools? How would you know whether your students have found a place of belonging in your school, in your community, in your organization, in your learning, in your relationship, in your one-on-one contact with them? How would you measure the belonging? How would you measure belonging? Let's go back to this and take a picture. How would you measure belonging? This is it. This is how you measure belonging. It's not the 70%. It's not the grade. It's not, who is at level 4 and level 1. Belonging is about being supported, and cared for. Last one on the board. Schools, organization, whatever space, these are general terms that are committed to the concept of belonging must have a strong understanding, we just said this, of the practices and postures that contribute to the goal. So when I at this first slide, I've used this slide a number of times, like a lot of times. And I was at the York Region District School Board at an event 2 weeks ago. And when I tell you the word cherish jumped out at me, I'm not even exaggerating. When I tell you the word cherished, now remember, I have used this slide. I have seen this slide on 50 by 50 feet project. I mean boards. I have seen this very slide on TV, on YouTube. Like I've seen it. It's my slide. It's my slide. I've seen it many times. But I'm at the mic and I'm talking to over 600 people in the room. And the word cherished space jumped out at me. I couldn't even contain my own self at the mic. It hit me hard. What is a cherished place? I know what it means. I have listened, I have watched movies when people talk about a cherished space. Even physically, when I use the word cherish, some of you may realize my hand literally went from here to do like this automatically. It's a physical reaction. Cherished, I felt hugged and protected and secured and nurtured. Cherished. Imagine if we do that. So in wrapping up this conversation, thinking about our work and how we can make sure that what we do becomes a cherished place, I ask you a few closing questions. Who determines who belong? Who determines who belong? Who does that? Who is in charge? Who is in charge of determining who belongs? And here is the answer. Not me and not you. It's the people we serve. Note my choice of word. It's the people we serve. I teach leadership courses. Funny enough, I have this leadership book on my shelf. I didn't even realize it was right here. I teach leadership courses. And I use this book, Leadership Practice by Northouse. I use this book. And in this book, there are tons of kinds of leadership. Transformative leadership, transformational leadership. You all know it. Pot gold theory of leadership, authentic leadership, adaptive leadership, psychodynamic approach to leadership, leadership ethics, team leadership, shared leadership, decision-making leadership, gender and leadership, culture and leadership, diversity leadership, inclusive leadership. A whole book. Do you know how often I have to say to students, there's actually a chapter on the book that talks about servant leadership. Somehow we don't really want to talk about it. How do we serve? How do we serve? How do we as leaders, how do we serve? When we serve people in a certain way, they do feel a sense of belonging. Service pulls people into us, the way we treat them. So who determines who belong? It is the people who we serve, who we have relationships with, that look at us and said, I really like being in your presence. I really like working with you. I love you to be my teacher. You heard at the beginning when Evelyn introduced me, she talked about my awards. I have gotten pretty couple of awards and I want to get more. Oh, yes, I do. Absolutely. Of course. You should desire good things. Oh, absolutely. But one of my favorite award, I must tell you, is when a student say to me, Mr. Campbell, you are the bestest teacher. Oh, that's the win. When they say, Mr. Campbell is the bestest teacher, I walk with a stride in my step. I am so extra when my students say I'm the bestest teacher. That's when I feel the good. That's when I feel good. When I know my students, they say it out there on the playground. We are the bestest teacher. Mr. Campbell is the bestest. It's not a word. It's my favorite word. I know you're saying, Dr. Campbell, that's not a word. Well, I don't care. It's my word. Bestest. And I earn that word. I have earned the word bestest because I have treated people's children in a way that says to them, I see you, I care for you, I love you, I'm going to support you, I'm going to make sure you are watered, you are nurtured so you can thrive. I'm going to close with a story. Yesterday, again, as I told you, I was out doing the most. And I remember a story, and I just share it. I'm going to share it today with you as also. A couple months ago, I get a lot of invitation to speak. And a couple months ago, I got an invitation from Queen's University, from the Student Association. They are planning a education conference, and I got an invitation to be the keynote speaker. This is now not the teachers, not the professors who may know me, but students. I look at the email and I saw a name that I'm familiar with. I go, oh, wow, look at this coincidence. I saw the person sign, and it's signed by this like the student Sarah. And I've taught a couple Sarahs in my life, but this particular one, our name is there, our surname is there, and I go, oh wow, so cool. Just move on. They book a meeting with me, and there on the screen, when they popped in, like, oh, you popped on me, Nadina, and you popped on me, Sheldon and Evelyn and Jessica and Cindy, and you popped on me, Community Living North Alton, Child and Family Services. You popped on the screen, and there I saw my Sarah, who I taught in grade 5. I taught Sarah in grade 5. I taught her sister, and I taught her brother. And I must tell you something. When the meeting was over, and she said, Mr. Campbell, I wanted you so bad, blah, 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 blah. And, we got you and we're excited and whatever. When the meeting was finished, I was very, very emotional. I said to myself, what kind of teacher must I have been in grade 5? In the dance class, because our big sister also did dance with me. What kind of teacher I must have been? So this student I taught in grade 5, now at Queen's University, as a student leader executive, could choose anybody to speak because it's not free, because I don't work for free. She could choose anyone. And she says, let me use my grade 5 teacher. You know how emotional I was? Tears ran down my eye. I'm a crier. Tears ran down my eye after the meeting. I said, what kind of teacher I must have been to teach these 3 children in the same household in different years. And she's at the university, and she can choose anybody to be a paid speaker. And she went for her grade 5 teacher. Wow. Wow. So In wrapping up, what does belonging look like in your space? What does belonging look like? What does it look like? You have to decide it. I can't decide it for you. What does belonging look like? How do we nurture belonging? How do we cultivate, plant, water, nurture? That is what cultivate is about. Cultivate is a farming word. Cultivate is a farming word. It's an agriculture word. It's a plant, it's a seed planting, watering, digging up, manuring, fertilizing, giving sunlight kind of word. Spraying pesticide and insecticide, protecting, supporting kind of word. I feel it. I feel it. How do we cultivate belonging? Belonging is fundamental. It is fundamental. It is nurtured. Oh, yes, it can be nurtured. So don't nobody be like, oh, it's bad already. I don't know what to do. No, 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 no. We can fix that. We can fix that. It can be nurtured. Belonging can be nurtured. If you are sitting there today thinking, well, I don't see no belonging in my organization, I don't feel that kind of way. Well, good news. Good news. Look at me bringing good news. Evelyn, look at me, Evelyn. I am bringing good news. I am like doing more than Santa Claus today. Santa Claus bring things. I am bringing good news. It can be nurtured. It can be worked on. We can do it better. We can water it. We can grow it. We can change our pedagogy. We can adjust our mindset and our practices. We can do better. So I leave you with the slide I started with. Well, the slide maybe I should have started with, but my energy, it ran right up to that other slide. That's my energy. What are the possibilities at Community Living North Halton? What are the possibilities where Nadina is at? What are the possibilities that can happen with Cindy and Evelyn? What are the possibilities with Sheldon and Jessica when belonging is foundation? Thank you so much for having me. I feeling supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, as the children would say, because I feel your energy pulling towards me. I can see you. Nadina, don't think I don't see you over there. I feel your energy pulling me. I feel it. I feel it over there. I feel it in community. I feel it. I see some of you. You lean into me. My friend over there with the glasses and the long t-shirt right over here. You lean into me. I see when you lean into me. I see you. I see you leaning in. Thank you for leaning in. Thank you for leaning in so we can learn together. Thank you for having me. I'm honestly honored to be here. Enough love, enough love. Over to you, Evelyn, to wrap up and
Thank
tell you
you,
everything.
Dr. ABC. Applause. No, I think I might. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dr. ABC. That was you just ended there with the energy, and I can't even tell you the energy in this room and what we're just totally feeling from the screen here today. You walked us through such a great journey, really, from start to finish, and um, there's so many things I think all of us are thinking and taking away. I just kind of want to thank you for giving us that idea of starting with ourselves. I think as we all transition now into our agenda, we plan to continue to talk about belonging today, but there are others on the screen that are, going off to other parts of their day, and we're all going to shift our attention. But I really truly feel that there are, as you mentioned, seeds planted to cultivate, and I want to thank you for giving us your beautiful energy. And I don't know if you heard the round of applause, but it was really loud here.
I
And
did.
you were absolutely wonderful. We are so grateful for your energy and your wisdom and all of that wonderful sharing that you did here today. Um, I believe we are wrapping up here unless anyone else would like to comment, but I know we've used our time. So
Yes.
thank you again, and thank you for allowing us to share this for some
Yes.
time for 30 days. We'll be able to
Yes.
show some other people here at Community Living.
Yeah.
So again, thank you. We wish you all the best for a wonderful holiday season. Take care of yourself,
Thank
and
you.
we hope to see you again. We hope this continues.
Absolutely. I'll send you the video
Amazing.
recording in a couple of hours. Wonderful.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much.